Ok, a ver, pónganme en el chat toda la gente que está hoy feliz porque saben lo que les
Okay, so
espera
please
en
write in
esta
the chat
reunión.
everybody who is happy because they know what
¿Cuántas,
awaits
cuántas,
them in
cuántas
this meeting. Come
cuántas?
on, how many of you?
Pónganlo
How
ahí,
many of you?
pónganlo ahí.
How
Yo quiero
many
la
of you?
energía esa que
Write it
siempre
down in
tenemos
the chat.
aquí,
I want
que es
the
del equipo de
energy
Be
that
the
we
Light,
always have here in the
¿verdad?
team of Be the
Ustedes
Light,
saben quién es nuestra
right? You
invitada, quién
know
está con
who is
nosotros.
our
Qué
guest, who
energía,
is with us,
qué
and
pura
she is pure
luz,
energy.
que es
She is pure
tremenda. Y
light.
después que sé
She
su
is
testimonio, más
amazing. And
aún.
after her
Así
testimonial,
que,
even
bueno,
more.
como siempre, nosotros
So,
queremos
as always,
traer lo
we
mejor.
want to bring the
Y yo le
best of the
contaba a
best
nuestra
to you.
invitada
And
de
I
hoy,
was
que yo sé que
saying
todos
to
saben quién
our
es, que es
guest today
Mariana
that you all
Mercado,
know
¿verdad?
that
Yo le
she is
contaba que
Mariana
Mariana ya
Mercado,
tiene
right?
co-host,
I
así
was
que
saying
pueden
to her,
compartirla
Mariana,
porque
your
pueden
co-host, so
abrir
whenever you
el
want, you can
micrófono.
open up
Y
your
yo le
mic.
contaba a ella
And
que
I
tuve la
was saying to her,
oportunidad
I had
de
the
verla cara a
opportunity to
cara
see
en una
her face to
convención allá
face
en
in the
Dallas.
convention
Y
in
yo le dije,
Dallas.
tú no sabes, pero tú me has
And I said
entrenado
to
a
her,
mí desde
you
que
don't
yo
know, but
entré
you've
a
been
Lifeway en
training
estos
me
tres
since I
meses
started in
y mi
LifeWave
equipo
in these
también.
3 months and also my
Y ella,
team.
claro que ni
And
sabe, porque por ocho
of
años
course,
que
she
ella
didn't
estuvo en la
even know because
compañía se ha
during 8 years
dedicado
that she's been in
precisamente
the
a eso,
company,
a
she's
entregar
dedicated
material, a
herself
compartir su
precisely to
experiencia. Y por
giving
eso me
out
parecía tan
information, sharing her
genial
experience. And that's why
tenerla acá con
I thought it
nosotros
was
para
so
poder
amazing to
preguntarle. Le
have her
voy a
here
pedir
with
cuál es
us.
la logística de la
I'm
llamada.
going
Queremos
to let you know what the
sacar el
logistics
mayor
of this
tiempo
call is going to
posible,
be. We
obviamente.
want to take the
Vamos a hacerlo
best
tipo entrevista,
leverage of
por
our
eso
time as
cualquier pregunta
possible.
que ustedes quieran
So any
hacer,
question that you
pónganmela en el
have,
chat que yo
please
las
write
voy
them down in
tomando y
Q&A.
vamos
I'm
a
going
tratar
to
de
take your questions
sacarle
and
provecho a
let's
esta hora que
try
tenemos
to
porque
make the
ustedes saben que
best out
son
of
horas
this
que
time that we
necesitamos
have because you know that
sustento.
each
Así
hour
que
we have something
Mariana
different.
Bella,
So Mariana,
bienvenida a
darling,
este grupo de Be the
welcome
Light y
to this
gracias por
group of
estar
Be
con
the Light
nosotros y por
and thank
decir
you for being with
sí.
us and
Eso
for
dice mucho
saying,
de ti.
yes,
Bienvenida,
that
mi
says a
amor.
lot about you. Welcome,
Ay,
darling.
tan bella, al contrario, para mí es
On
un
the
honor estar aquí con
contrary, it's
ustedes. Me
an
da
honor
mucho
for
gusto ver
me to
tanta
be here with you.
gente,
I'm really
tanta
happy
gente
to
con
see
ganas
so
de
many
salir
people here,
adelante, de
so many
tener
people
calidad
wanting
de
to be
vida,
successful, wanting
de
to have a
decir
quality of
sí
life, of
a
saying
realmente
yes
invertir en ustedes
to
mismos.
truly
Yo creo que es el
investing in
mejor regalo
yourselves.
que ustedes se
I
pueden
think
dar,
it's the best
principalmente,
gift that you can
primeramente
give
a ustedes.
yourself.
Así es que
First, to
gracias por
yourselves.
darse
So
este
thank you
espacio para
for
estar
giving
aquí
yourself this
compartiendo
space
también
to
su
be here,
hermosa energía.
sharing your
Mira, por
beautiful
eso yo desde el
energy.
viernes puse, vamos
Yes,
a
that's
tener
why
entonces a
since
Mariana,
Friday
porque te
I
digo la verdad,
told
nosotros
everyone we're
empezamos el
going to have
negocio hace 3
Mariana
meses.
since
Y cuando
next
entramos
Monday because
decíamos,
we
wow,
started a
todo el
business
contenido es en
3 months
inglés,
ago.
todo
And
el
since we
contenido que
started, we were like,
necesitamos.
wow, all
Y
the
me acuerdo
content
que
is
una
in
de las
English,
niñas
everything that
mías,
we need.
Solangeli, que está
And I
acá,
remember that a
me
friend of
mandó un
mine,
video tuyo que
Solanjali, who is here,
explicaba
sent me a video of you where you would explain,
lo que tú usas, el
you
protocolo que
know, the
usabas del 3
protocol
del
that you
Ion,
would
del
use with the
carnosine,
three
el
patches,
glutatión.
Eon,
Y empecé a ver toda la
Carnosine,
explicación y dije, qué hermoso, yo
Glutathione.
tengo que seguir. Ella es la que
And
me va a
I
enseñar todo esto.
said,
Y empecé a ver, la
yes, this is
verdad,
the
me
woman I
comí
need to
todos sus
follow.
videos
And
y
I
lo
started
compartía
seeing all
también
of
en el
this and I
equipo.
started watching all the
A
videos and
medida que
sharing
fui
them with the
aprendiendo,
teams
fui escuchando. Y
as
sin
I
embargo, el otro
started
día
learning and
compartiste
listening to
conmigo
you. But the other
un
day you
testimonio
shared
y me
your testimonial
encantaría,
with me,
Mariana,
and
que
I would love
pudieras
it, Mariana.
compartirlo
If
acá.
you
¿Cómo
could
fue que
please
llegaste
share it
tú
here.
a Lifeway
How
y
was
los
it that
parches
you
y tu
reached
introducción a esta
LifeWave and the
compañía que cambió no
patches and your
solamente tu vida y
introduction
tu
to
salud,
this
sino
company
también
that
te
not only
permitió
changed
ser
your
esa
life and your health,
vocera de que
but
más
that also
personas
allowed
pudieran
you
llegar
to
a lo
be a
mejor?
voice
¿Cómo
for
fue
more
para que ellos
people to do
sepan?
the same? How did it go so they can know?
Pues mira, esto fue
Well, look, for
a
me,
inicios del
this
mes de
happened at
junio,
the
en el año
beginning
del
of the
dos mil
month of
dieciséis
June in year
Fui a un
2016.
Starbucks con una
I
amiga
went to a
muy querida
Starbucks
mía,
with a very
una
beloved
señora
friend
ya
of
mayor de
mine,
edad.
a woman
Ahorita
that
yo soy
is
la señora de
elderly. And when
80
I say
años, en ese
elderly,
tiempo
she's
tenía
80
ochenta
years
y
old.
dos
At that
creo.
time, she was 82
Y
years old,
esta
I think.
señora, pues
And
estábamos
this
ahí, normal,
lady,
tomando
we were
café.
there
Yo en ese tiempo
having a
tenía una
coffee.
enfermedad
At that time, I
crónico-degenerativa,
had a chronic
ya totalmente
degenerative
estaba
illness.
como
And
como cuando tiras la toalla y que dices, ok,
I
lo voy
had
a
thrown
aceptar
away
y
the
ni
towel,
modo,
you
no
know. I was
más,
just
porque ya había
accepting
ido a
it, and
muchos
there's nothing
médicos,
else I can do
ya
because I
había
had
tomado
gone to a
muchos
lot of
tratamientos,
doctors.
mucho
I had taken
medicamento
a
y
lot
me
of
había hecho hasta
treatments, a
algún
lot of
procedimiento
medication, and I
quirúrgico y
even
no había
had
tenido
some
suerte
surgery
alguna.
procedure, and I hadn't had
Y
any
quiero
luck at all.
aclarar algo desde el
And I want
principio.
to clarify
Mucha gente
something from the
piensa a veces
beginning.
porque
Many
ve o
people
escucha
think
alguna parte de
sometimes
mis
because they
videos en mi
see or
testimonio,
in
piensan
some
que
part
estoy
of
en
my
contra de la
videos and
medicina. No es
testimonial, they
así.
think that I'm
Soy
against
responsable
medication, and that is
entiendo
not true.
perfectamente
I
que
am responsible,
necesitamos de los
and I
médicos para
perfectly
algún
understand that
tratamiento,
we need
procedimiento, lo que
doctors for
sea.
treatments or
Sin embargo,
procedures or whatever.
vengo del rubro de la
Nevertheless,
medicina y con
I
todo y que
come
estaba
from the
muchas
medical
personas allegadas
industry,
a mí
and
como
even though there were a
colegas,
lot
por
of
así
people close
decirlo,
to me,
porque
colleagues, let's
mi
say,
marido ya
because my
falleció. Era médico
husband
con
already
especialidad.
passed
Entonces las
away. He
personas
was
que
a
a mí me atendieron
doctor
eran personas
with a
allegadas a nosotros,
specialty.
eran
So the
colegas de mi
people that were
marido, que
assisting
todos
me
me
were
brindaban
colleagues of
demasiada
my
atención y
husband that gave me
aún
the
así
best attention there
nadie
was.
pudo
And
ayudarme.
even though
Entonces yo
I
ya tenía
had
9
all
años con
that,
esta
nobody could
enfermedad
help me.
crónico-degenerativa
I
que se
had
llama síndrome
had
de Crohn.
this
Y un buen día, y siempre
degenerative
lo voy a decir así, o
chronic
sea,
illness for
para mí
nine
life
years. That is
es una
called
oración
Crohn.
contestada.
syndrome. For me, Life Wave was an answer from God, from asking God, please help me. I can't take this anymore. 9 years of your life after being 30 something. So part of my youth, almost a decade, feeling sick, locked up in my room. So I got to a Starbucks one day with this elderly woman, and I see a lady come into the room with her hair completely white, short hair, and she was dressed in hiking clothes, and it was 8:30 p.m. So you don't imagine somebody with white hair at that time coming from the mountain. So I remember that when I saw her, I was like, why is this woman all dressed up at this time? In my mind, a lot of thoughts were going by. So at the end, they were friends. She was friends with my friend. So before my friend and me left, she sat with another friend of hers behind us. So my friend never saw her go in. But when we left, oh, she saw her and she was like, hey, how are you doing, Pilar? And this and that. And she starts saying, oh, I'm back from the mountain for the second time today. And in my mind, I was like, what do you mean this is the second time that she went hiking? This old woman with her white hair. No, that doesn't make sense to me. Sorry, there was a fly here. I don't know who invited her. So when I start talking to my friend and saying, hey, how have you been? My friend was like, battling with my health, normal for a woman who's 82. And the woman takes from her purse, she opens it and she takes out a patch. Just like this. She takes it out and starts putting the patches on her clothes, which any person normally would have said, what is this lady doing? What is this for? I don't remember what the woman said, but at the end she said, turn around, and she put one here on my seventh, on my seventh, sorry, vertebra, on my backbone and my spine. And then she said, it's $5. So that movement of just patching us and then putting her hand like this, because you can be very good at selling accessories or whatever, but you can't just sell something like that to somebody that you don't know. You can't just be like, selling things just like that. When you're selling a supplement, you have to be like, will this not hurt me? And a patch or a sticker, and I saw that she was just putting them on my friend's clothes, and I was like, why are you putting the patch on her clothes? And she said, oh, because they also work like this. And what is it? I asked her, and she said this, it's acupuncture without needles. I went back to my house, and I'm not lying to you, okay? I'm just shortening the story so we can leverage it. I spent 3 days in a state of harmony that I hadn't felt in years, in years. I had that literally I started laughing and laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing because I had an euphoria attack, a happiness attack, a harmony attack. And obviously, we never thought that this was due to the patch. So there was a woman at home that day who was visiting, and on the third day, she asked, hey, Mariana, how long does the effect of the patch last? And I told her 3 days. Why? And she said, well, run because the dose is about to end. And I said, what do you think? Because you're always doubt, right? And she said, well, you haven't done anything different except for using the patch. And I said, yeah, it could be. So I called the lady because she gave me her card. And I said, hey, lady, for what other things do you have other patches? And she probably gave me a very long explanation. But in my level of awareness at that time, the only thing I heard, which was like music to my ears, was to lose weight. Because let's take into account that I didn't know that this was for me to heal my body. They just sold me a patch, that's all. But nobody told me you're going to heal. This is curative, nothing, zero. So when I heard, what else can you use it for? And she said to lose weight. And I said, give me two. I want them right now. Because I could have been very sick, but looking good is always number one, because that's how human beings are. We may be dying, but we want to look beautiful, which is something good because it comes from having a self-esteem and wanting to feel and look better. So I said, okay, so how can I purchase this a bit cheaper? Oh, well, the lowest pack, but I don't have money, but I'll just use the credit card, right? I used a credit card. There was two sleeves. I didn't know I could choose different sleeves, so I chose the same ones. I start using them, and I start to become unswollen. I was like, wow, my eyes. I start to feel like I am being de-inflated and my cheeks start going down. And when I see these results of lowering the inflammation, the first thing I did was what any human being in planet Earth would do. I called my cell phone. I took my cell phone and I called my friends and I said, hey, guess what? I'm losing weight with stickers. Who wants them? And all my friends said, me. If I would have said something else, they could have questioned me or whatever. What do you mean, stickers? And you just put them on your clothes? All of them wanted that. So in one of the breakfasts that I organized, because I still do what works for me, and we organized a breakfast and we were 8 or 10 people and we had one guest. Don't think that it's enormous events. Maybe we were at home and somebody would come with a friend. And one of those events that was like the third or the fourth presentation that I did at the beginning, because I didn't know how to do the presentation. I didn't know about the products. I only knew about the happiness patch that they sold me for $5 and that gives you a super body. So I was like, okay, just this one and this one. Which one do you want? The happiness one or the skinniness one? So one of the guests that were with us was all the time putting his hand up and putting his hand up. One of the people that we invited. And I was like, who is that man? And then he suddenly said, you know what? I want to share my testimony. And we were like, oh, okay. And please pay attention because this is going to change the way that you see your product. Okay. This is what changed the way I see it. He said, I'm a cancer survivor. He did not use the patches. Okay. But he said, I'm a brain cancer survivor. I work in the pharmaceutical industry since 10 years ago. And I can tell you 100% that with the information that I know, the only thing that can do a human being to be saved from cancer is glutathione. I didn't even know what glutathione was. I didn't understand the concept, the word, what it meant, nothing, zero. So at that moment I was like, glutathione, but in the presentation that we give, the glutathione patch that doesn't contain glutathione stimulates us to produce it at a 300% only in 4 hours by using it 12 hours. So the people leave and I instill with that restlessness in my brain. So I grab the laptop that I'm connected with you in right now and I start investigating what glutathione is. And I find so much information that I said bye to these patches. I didn't care anymore. For me, it was all about glutathione. So I started to investigate a bit more. And I realized that in the points that I based on myself since 8 years and a half ago, in my intuition, there was a few of them. And one of them that called my attention very much was this one, which is this, which I still use currently because it's the point where the intestines are. Now, I don't know a lot about acupuncture, but I investigate and I learn. So I was like, okay, glutathione, digestive system, and called my attention. And I investigate what carnosine is. It repairs. Okay. And what's the other point in the guide? This one right here. Why? Because it stimulates the heart. And I was like, why the heart? Intuitively, my self would tell myself, okay, my digestive system and my emotions are damaged because I've been sick for like a decade with a terrible depression that has me locked up in my room. So I was like glutathione, carnosine, and in my vertebra, number 7. In that time, there was no X39. We didn't have the luck to have that. So I focus on using these patches and oh, surprise, my digestive system starts to heal in a quick and surprising and unexplainable and marvelous way. So after a month and a half of doing this protocol, because protocol for me is just a combination of patches, that's all, okay? Based in the results that the benefits of each patch offers me, that's all. So I started using them and nobody said you're going to heal, you're going to be fine. Nobody said that. And I like that because truthfully, they always said that it stimulates the natural processes for the body to auto heal, not for it to get cured or anything. So I said, okay, wait a sec. Because until the date of today, I still needed to study and try, and something that needs to back up what I'm going to share. And definitely never, at least the founder is going to talk about curing. Okay. He talks about healing. So he said, okay, what's the difference between curing and healing? So then I learned that curing ourselves is through a procedure, treatment, or a medication, which is external to the body. That's what a doctor does. He cures you. And healing, which is what the founder talks about, quantic healing, is when it's via your own resources. And what are your resources in this case? The light, the infrared light that your body emits. That when you are moving your hands like this, if you do it right now, and when you rub your hands against each other, they're going to emit heat. That is called infrared light in English. And it's also called as the etheric field, which is the energy next to the skin. Now, something interesting, it's so powerful, our energy, that the patches connect via these crystals that are made of amino acid, water, and oxygen in different frequencies, and that's why the different patches do different light frequencies at a centimeter distance, like this. So this is how powerful this is. But the one that is really powerful is the body. It's your resource that connects and sends the signal to the brain. So it doesn't matter if you put it on your left leg, on your right hand, on your brain, or on the soles of your feet. The sign is going to go to your brain, and the brain is going to start doing the job. Now, if you put them in specific places where during thousands of years in Chinese acupuncture they've been successful, that's great. But for you to be calm about this, you can't put it in a wrong place or you can't put it in a wrong way. Wherever you put it on, it's going to work. Now, don't use them more than 12 hours because the founder has said it 1,000 times without exaggerating. Once that you put the patches on the skin or on the clothes, if you use them for more than 12 hours, they can do something which is called attenuation, which means that we work with different kinds of waves. After 12 waves, there's a stimulus and they don't work. So instead of being a benefit, using them more than 12 hours, what they are doing is an overstimulation. Don't do it. It's better for you to use it 1 hour and to throw it away than for you to use it 24 hours. And many times using them for a longer time comes from the thought of, I want to leverage this as much as possible. You don't have to have that mindset. Believe me, you can use it for 1 hour, 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, and throw it to the trash. The movement and the energy that it does is enough. I don't want you to think with the patches, with that scarcity of, hey, if I can use it again. No, you can't use it again. And it says in the instructions. So then I don't know if I was missing something. No, don't worry, but I did want to ask you something. And if I did, just ask me because no, everything that you're saying is super interesting and you already answered 5 questions that I had, so that's perfect.
Porque hablaste algo importante y es
Because
una
you said,
pregunta que muchos
talked
hacen.
about something
Eso de
important,
que
which is a question that many
si se
people
te
ask.
olvida quitártelo,
What
la
if you
relación de
forget to
estimulación,
take it off
pero hay
the
personas que dicen, ¿me puedo
overstimulation? But
poner
there are
dos de
people that say,
X39?
can I use
¿Puedo
two
usarlo? No.
X39s?
Y lo otro,
No.
también,
And the other thing,
para que no se te olvide, ¿cómo haces?
so
¿Te
you
pones
don't forget,
alarma?
what do you do? Do you
Digo,
put
las
an
personas cuando
alarm?
comienzan,
I mean, for
inicialmente. Y
people
lo
when they are
otro, hay
starting and they're
personas
not
que me
used to it.
preguntan,
And the
bueno,
other thing that people ask
y
me
si los dejo de usar, me
is,
dice
okay,
4
what if I
meses,
stop
y los
using
dejo
them?
de
I use
usar,
them for 4 months and I
ocurre?
stop using
¿Va
them. What
de
happens?
regreso la
Are
condición que yo
they
tenía
the
o no?
condition, is the condition that I had coming back or not? Okay, let me talk about that. Look, everything that I'm going to share with you since I started this interview program, everything that I'm sharing is things that I learned from David Schmidt. Imagine that I'm presenting David Schmidt. Nothing is from my point of view, my belief, my way of thinking, nothing. Everything is from David Schmidt. I have pictures with him like you have no idea because he was in San Diego, California. So whoever wanted to, we had access to being with him and to asking him like, hey, David, with a lot of friendliness. Where should I put the Alavida? And he said here. But this was 8 years ago. So I've been using Alavida, glutathione, and all of them for 8 years, whichever one I want. And answering to your question,
Cuando yo empiezo a usar los parches,
when
yo
I
le
start
pregunté a
using the
David Smith,
patches,
oye,
I
tiene una
asked
prima de
David
mi
Schmidt,
amiga
hey,
porque
But I have my sister's cousin because I'm the one with Crohn's syndrome, but I was a bit embarrassed. So I have a friend that has a chronic degenerative illnesses that is non-reversible. How long do you recommend the patches? And he said minimum 6 months. Minimum 6 months nonstop, every day.
Incluso una vez le pregunté,
Even
oye, para
once
una
I
persona que
asked him,
fuma,
but what about for a
¿cuánto
person who
tiempo le
smokes?
recomiendo y qué
How
patches? Me
long do
dijo
you recommend and what
glutatión, me dijo,
patches?
en
And
la
he said
garganta.
glutathione
¿Cuánto
in the
tiempo?
throat.
Toda la vida.
For how long? His whole
Sí,
life or her
toda
whole
la
life.
vida.
That's what
Y yo
he
dije,
said.
ok,
The whole
perfecto.
life.
Bueno,
And I
está
was
bien,
like, okay,
resetado. No, no es cierto, es una manera de decirlo de broma, ¿no?
resetting. No,
Entonces,
I'm kidding.
cuando yo
That's
duré 6 meses
just
con los parches, que
a
fue
joke.
tiempo, les
So
repito,
when
no
I
había
used the patches
X69,
for
usé
6 months, and
estos 3
that
y
time there was no
interferencia.
X39, I used these
Al yo
three and
usar esto y
glutathione and
sanar toda
carnosine.
mi parte
When I
digestiva,
healed
me
all my
pasó por un
digestive
momento,
system for a moment,
estaba joven,
I was young, okay?
inmadura. Y
So,
me
and
pasó por un
immature.
momento la
And
parte
for a
de decir,
moment,
y no
I
será
thought,
placebo,
and
no
won't this
estaré
be a
engañando a mi mente. O sea, a
placebo?
mí
Won't
también
I
me pasó, yo
be
también lo viví. Y solté los
lying
parches y
to
dije,
myself?
ok,
I also lived that.
voy a
And I
soltar
let
los
go of the
parches, ya no los
patches and I said,
necesito,
okay,
quiero
I don't need the
constatar
patches anymore.
que
I
mi
want
sistema
to make
digestivo es
sure
sano
that my
y que no es
digestive
algo que tengo que usar
system
de por vida, o sea,
is
recargarme en ellos
healthy
por tenerlos que
and
usar
it's not
porque
something that
mi
I need to
sistema
use
digestivo lo
for
requiere.
life because my
Entonces,
digestive system needs it.
bien chistoso, porque se
So
lo
it
dije a
was
mi líder
very
que fue la
funny because I
compañía,
said
le
that
digo,
to a leader
estoy,
who's in
estoy
the company
probando
and I
los
told him,
parches.
I'm trying the
Y me dijo
patches.
algo que me
And he
cambió
said
la vida.
something that changed my
Me dijo,
life.
los parches no están para
He said, the
probarse, Mariana.
patches are not
Los
to
parches
try,
te están
Mariana. The
probando a
patches
ti.
are trying
Oh
you.
my God, yo así como,
Oh
no
my
manches,
God.
¿en
I was like,
serio?
what are you talking
Claro. O
about? And he
sea,
was like,
¿qué
yeah.
tanto te amas como
How
para querer
much do
sanar
you
tu
love
cuerpo? Y
yourself
yo así como,
to
ay, Dios mío,
actually
dije, bueno,
want
ok.
to heal your
Ahora
body?
sí dejé de usar los
And I was like,
CBDs
oh
porque quería
God.
estar
But
segura.
I didn't use them for a
¿Ok?
month
Y
because I
en ese
wanted to
tiempo
be
yo no
sure.
estaba segura de hacerlo
And
como lo
during
voy a
that
hacer
time, I
todavía.
wasn't sure about working it as a
Imagínate, yo
business
empecé a hacer mi
either. So
negocio por mi
imagine I
situación
started using it
económica.
as a
Yo
business because
requería más
of my
dinero para
financial
poder
situation. I
comprarlos
needed
y
more money to
usarlos.
be able to
Los
buy them
compraba,
and to
me
use
enviaba
them.
mitad y me
So
quedaba
I
la
would
mitad
buy them,
gratis.
I would
Lo
send
bueno es que se me hizo
half, and I would
costumbre
have
y
half
hasta
for
la
free.
fecha lo sigo
And it
haciendo exactamente
became
igual.
an
Igual
habit.
a
And
todo.
until the day of today, it was exactly the same.
Entonces, al mes de no usarlos, ni
So after
uno,
a month of not using any of
mi
them,
cuerpo seguía
my
exactamente
body
igual.
was
De ahí
exactly the same.
dije, no
And
inventes, dije,
I
ya,
said, no, I can't
mi
believe
cuerpo está
this.
totalmente
My
restaurado,
body
no
is
necesito
totally
los parches, ¿qué
healed.
voy a
I don't
hacer?
need
¿Qué
the
voy a
patches
hacer?
anymore. What am I going to do now?
Elegirlos. Y ahí
Choose
cambió mi
them.
mentalidad.
And that's
Dije,
where
no
my
los
mindset
necesito,
changed.
pero
I
ahora
don't
los
need them,
elijo
but
y los voy
now
a
I
usar
choose
toda mi
them.
vida.
And I'm going
Siempre
to
con la
use them
mentalidad de
my
no
whole
es un
life,
día
always
más,
with the
es un
mindset
día
of it's not
menos.
one
Me
more
voy
day,
para
it's
hacer
one
el
less day.
viejita o mayor de lo
And
que sea y
I'm
quiero
going
hacerlo
to be
con todas mis
old
capacidades
one day, and I
intelectuales,
want to do it with all
mentales,
my
con mis emociones
intellectual
al 100, porque
abilities
ciertamente
and my
nuestra manera de
emotions at
pensar tiene mucho
100%
que ver
because
con un
our way of
impacto con
thinking
nuestra manera de
has a lot
sentirnos.
of with
Y
how we feel.
había tenido 9 años de depresión.
And
Es una depresión
I had been through nine
con
years of
base a la
depression,
enfermedad que tenía.
a
Entonces era cómo
depression
me
based
recupero
on the illness that
emocionalmente,
I
cómo me
had. So I was
recupero
like, how can I
económicamente
recover
y cómo
emotionally?
todos mis
How can I
órganos van a
recover
empezar a florecer y
financially?
a
And all my
funcionar
organs are going to
perfectamente,
start
¿no?
to flourish
Y
and work
entonces ya,
perfectly.
dije, no, de
So
a
yes,
partir
I
de
said,
ahora sí,
until from now
vamos
on,
con todo.
let's go and let's do it.
Mariana, me encantaría porque en ese video que vi, bueno, he visto muchos,
Mariana,
pero ese
I would love to because
específicamente
in that
me gustó
video that
mucho.
you sent me, well, I've
Y
seen
una de
many
las
of them, but
dificultades más
the one
grandes
that
de
you
las
sent me, I
personas que
really
entran
liked.
al
One of the
negocio
greatest
o a
difficulties of the
LifeWave o a
people who
elegir los
access the
patches para
business
su
or
libertad
LifeWave
y
or who
después
choose the
empezar a
patches
seguir
for their
compartiéndolo
well-being
para el resto
is
del
to
mundo,
continue and
es
to
porque
share
si
it
yo no
with the rest
explico
of
lo
the
de la
world.
tecnología,
How do
qué
I explain
tecnología es
about
esta,
the
cómo funciona de
technology?
una
What
manera
technology
simple
is
que todo
this?
el mundo pueda entenderlo.
In
Y
an
cuando yo te
easy
vi a
way
ti
that
en ese video
everybody can
explicarlo, me
understand.
pareció tan fácil
So
de
when I
entender.
saw you explain
¿Cómo
that in the
explicas
video,
tú
I
esta
thought it was really
tecnología
easy
para la
to
gente que
understand.
no lo conoce
How
y
do
a
you
los cuales
explain
tú
this
se lo
technology
compartes?
for the people who
No
don't
lo
know
explico
it and
mucho.
how do you
La
share
verdad
it?
a las personas
I
luego
really
me
don't explain
preguntan.
about the
O
technology a
sea,
lot.
me
I
dicen,
just patch them. That's all.
no
I go up to
te
them and I
puedo
patch them.
explicar porque es fácil de comprender. Y
I
se los
can't
digo por
explain
experiencia.
it
Yo duré 2 años,
because
aún
it's
y que
difficult
sentía
to
los beneficios, los
understand.
podía ver,
And
palpar. O sea,
even though
yo
I
estaba
felt the
haciendo
benefits,
un caso de éxito de salud.
and I was
Aún
a
así,
case of
no lo
success in
podía
my health,
entender.
still I couldn't
¿Sabes? O sea,
understand or
mi
explain it.
nivel de conciencia en ese
My
momento, o sea,
level of
¿cómo entender
awareness at
algo
that
que
moment was
no
like, how
puedes,
can I understand
que
something
porque
that
estamos acostumbrados a
because
tomarnos
we're
cosas, a
used to
inyectarnos cosas, a que
taking
nos
medication, drugs, injections, or having therapy. And our whole life, that's what we've heard. So suddenly I was like, what do you mean it works on your clothes or your shoes? So I just started patching people until one day a group of doctors in Culiacán, Sinaloa, were waiting for me. I gave them a very cute presentation. At that time, we used PowerPoint, and there was a doctor that had been in pain for 5 years in the heel. So I don't know if it was a heel or the ankle, something, but for 5 years, an elderly man. And I put the patches inside a bag with the tape, and he said, no, 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 put them on my skin. And I said, no, because I don't like putting the patches on the skin because it's like committing people, and I didn't even know him. So I just put them in a little bag and I put some tape on it and I gave it to him. 5 minutes after, the doctor didn't have pain, and he said, this can't be. This can't be from God. I don't will never forget the expression. He was really afraid. He almost called me a witch. He said, I have 21 books on pain, Mariana. How can you come and take the pain away with these patches? And he left very upset. And I was like, oh my God. And there I understood many things. Not everybody is open to healing. Not everybody is open for you to take the pain away. So suddenly, and don't take this personally, if there's people here with fibromyalgia, it's not against you. I'm talking in general terms. But normally, a person that has fibromyalgia doesn't want you to take the pain away. So we've had a lot of experiences. Like for example, in the first years that a person that I'm not going to talk about say who she is, but her pain went away because she has a foundation for women with fibromyalgia, and they were going to do an presentation of the face of fibromyalgia, take pictures of the pain to expose it. So we met this woman that was a friend of the woman that I talked about at the beginning, that I met that presented me to the patches. So her pain went away. She was impressed. She was really happy. She was like, wow, the pain went away. And she was like, oh. And we were like, can we share this with your foundation? And she was like, no. And I'm not going to talk about any details, okay? You can imagine the rest. So not everybody is open to taking away their pain. It's part of their way maybe to have support, maybe financially or emotionally, or I don't know, for the husband not to leave them, child manipulation. There's a lot of reasons that you're going to learn along the way. So just don't take it personally and just continue. Some people don't want to heal, but there are millions that do want to heal and are waiting for an opportunity like this to have a better quality of life. So don't take anything personal. And something very important, what made my faith strengthen, because I was using it, I was losing it. It's when I patch dogs. This is real. Patch a dog, patch a cat, and the response is immediate because their brain doesn't have point of views. They're not going to be like, oh no, I'm better with what the vet gives me. No, they just receive. So if you patch a dog, boom, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, the dog starts moving the tail, the face changes. It's incredible. It's amazing. And that's when I say, no, wow, well, just patch a dog. You don't trust yet? Patch a dog and you'll see.
Me encanta, Mariana.
I
En
love it,
serio.
Mariana. I
Mira,
love
tú
it.
decías, la razón por la que
So
te hablaba
you
del
were
otro es porque tú
saying, and
decías, bueno,
precisely the
la
reason
todas
why I
las
was talking
manos
about the
las
other one is because the
mostrabas
heat
como una
that comes
manera
from
de
your hands,
entender,
you were showing
de entender, no,
a way
como de
that we might
exponer la
understand
tecnología y que
or
la gente
expose the
comprendiera
technology
sobre
for
eso. Ahora,
people to
tú hablas de
understand about it.
parchar y
Now,
obvio, tú
when
empiezas
you
a ver
talk
un chat
about
y la
patching,
mayoría de la
obviously
gente
you
le da
start
como
seeing the
pena
patch, and most
y
of
no
the people
conozco a la
are
persona.
embarrassed if they
¿Cómo es un
don't
día
know
de
the person.
Mariana? ¿Cómo
So,
hace
how is
Mariana
a
para
day in
parchar
Mariana's
perro,
life?
gato,
How does
perrito?
Mariana do
¿Cómo
to
haces
patch
tú
dog,
para
cat,
salir
human?
y
What do
ver a
you
alguien
do to
bebiendo
get
agua
out
si se le va
there
alguien con un
and
dolor
if
y
you
dime,
see
yo
someone
quiero que esté
in
bien, yo sé
pain
cómo
to
quitar
say,
mi
hey,
dolor, yo
I
voy
want
a
you to feel
parcharte,
well and
¿cómo
I know
haces
how to
tú?
take
¿Cómo
it
lo
away pain
hacemos?
away. I just patch you. How do you
Pues
get
es que te vuelves
go to
muy
them?
hábil, ¿no? A la hora de identificar
Well,
el
you
dolor en las
become
personas. ¿Dónde
very
ves el dolor
professional
en
in
una persona?
identifying
En el
pain in
rostro.
people. Where do
O
you
sea,
see
la
the
carita
pain in
cambia.
someone's
No es lo mismo
face?
una persona que se
In
siente
somebody,
bien a una
sorry,
persona
in
que
their
no se siente
face.
bien.
Their
Estamos,
face
y eso
changes.
no
It's
es
not the
ciencificado,
same
¿no?
somebody that doesn't
La
feel
otra,
well
el caminar.
to
El
somebody who does
caminar de una
feel well.
persona te dice
The other
mucho. Si la
way is a
persona tiene
person's
dolor
way
en
of
su
walking. A
pierna, en la
person's way of
fascia,
walking
en la
says a lot.
rodilla,
If
si
the
caminas
person has
más lento,
pain in
lo
the
pueden
face
incluso
or in
hasta,
the knee, they
o
walk
sea,
slower,
cojear, ¿no? Como
or
decimos
they can
nosotros.
even be limping.
O no sé cómo lo conocen ustedes, pero pues sí, una persona que no
So,
camina bien,
yes, a person
no
who
porque
doesn't
tenga
walk well,
un problema permanente
not
físico,
because
sino
they have a physical
porque le duele.
permanent
O sea, el
issue,
dolor te hace
but
caminar
because of the
diferente,
pain.
¿ok?
So the pain makes you walk differently.
Y el dolor se nota en la cara.
And the
O
pain is
sea,
something that
realmente
you
se nota en
notice
la
in a
cara. Y no nada
person's
más el
face.
dolor, o
You
sea,
truthfully notice it
el
in the
dolor
face. And
emocional
not
también se
only
nota
the
en la
pain,
cara, o sea, se te ven los
emotional pain is
ojos,
something that
la
you
mirada
see
se
also in
apachurra,
the
te ves
eyes.
triste, o sea,
The
no te ves bien.
eyes
Entonces,
look
yo he aprendido que el rechazo de las personas no es el rechazo a mi persona,
shut
¿ok?
down,
No me están
dull.
haciendo
You don't
quedar
feel
mal.
well. And I've
Y muchos han
realized
de decir,
that
ay, esta no quiere
reject
venir a
is
que
not a
le
reject
paches, ¿verdad?
to me. It's not
Seguramente
like a
más
person,
bien.
oh my God, she wants to
Sin
come and
embargo, hay
patch
otras
me.
personas que yo simplemente llego y les
Probably,
digo, oye, ¿te
but it's not a
gustaría? O sea,
reject
es que
towards
sí,
me.
miren, ahora que
And
lo
there are
mencionas,
other
que
people that I
mencionan
might go up to and I say, hey, would
en
you
Dallas donde fue
like
la
this?
sesión. De
Now
repente la
that we
gente
were
me
in the
veía
Dallas
muy
convention, I'm not going to
importante,
be an
los
exception.
parches
People are
puestos,
looking at
ellos
me
usan mucho en la
with
frente
the
cuando
patches
hacen
on.
eventos,
I
amigos,
use
van
the
a regalar
patches
y
a lot
todo.
on my
Y
forehead
la
when I'm
gente se
inside
metiche. Entonces la gente
and
llega
I'm
y,
not
¿qué es
going to get
eso? O
sun
sea,
on
me
me.
quedan
And
viendo
people
mucho y
go
les
up
digo,
to
te
me and
llama
they're
la
like, hey,
atención, ¿verdad?
what is
¿Quieres que
that?
te
They're
platique?
curious.
O
And I'm
sea,
like, oh,
así,
it calls
sin
your
ninguna
attention, right?
vergüenza,
You
¿no?
want me to talk to you
Y hay gente que me
about
dice,
them?
no, no, no me
I
interesa. O
just
sea,
say it directly.
ese rechazo no es
And
a
they're
mi
like, oh, no, no, no,
persona.
I'm not
O sea, simplemente
interested.
ellos no están
That
abiertos. Y
reject
está bien, entonces
way
pues
of
yo voy y
rejecting is not
continúo.
towards me as
Y
a
ya después
person.
me
They're
encuentro
simply
a
not
alguien
open
más y
to it.
había unos que me
And that's
veían y
fine. I
estaban así
continue.
como
And then I find
estábamos
someone else
platicando
that
afuera del
was,
baño,
you
¿no?
know, they were
Y eran
talking
dos
outside of
señoras
the
y un
restroom and
señor.
it was two
Hasta que
women
llegué y
and a
digo,
man.
¿quieren saber de los
And then I'm
patches,
like,
verdad?
hey, you're
Ay,
looking
sí,
at me
sí,
and
todo
talking. You want to
mundo, que
know
no sé
about the
qué.
patches, right? And they're
Pum,
like,
en
yes,
ese
everybody
momento
wants to know about
intercambié
them.
números,
And at
oigan, me
that
acuerdo, y una
time,
noche sigo
we
hablando con
changed
ellos, o sea,
numbers
y era
and I
gente que
continued
trabajaba
talking with
en
them.
el
And these
hotel.
were people who were
Entonces,
working at the hotel.
así es, o sea, tienes que ir por la
So
vida y
that's how it works.
preguntar.
You just have
Ahora,
to go
ojo,
around
nunca
life
salgas sin tus parches,
asking
porque no
and never
sabes a
leave your
quién le
house
puedes
without your
salvar la
patches
vida. Me
because
ha
you don't
tocado en
know whose life
aeropuertos y
you
me ha
can save.
tocado en
It's
aviones, o sea,
happened in airports and
impresionante
it's
que de
happened in
repente una
planes.
persona con un
It's
ataque
amazing that
de
suddenly
ansiedad, un ataque
somebody
así
with
de
an
sobresalto,
anxiety
me ha
attack or
tocado
a
atender
panic
en
attack,
el
I've
aeropuerto en
had
la
to
Ciudad de
assist them
México a
in
personas
the
con
airport in the
epilepsia.
city of Mexico,
Y
also
en
people
esos
with
momentos,
epilepsy.
perdónenme, pero el
And
negocio
in
pasa a
that
segundo
time, I'm
plano.
sorry, but
No
the business
intercambias
is
datos ni les... Cero. Tú
second in
llegas, pones tus
importance.
parches, sabes lo que estás
You
haciendo y
don't
te
talk about
retiras.
information. You
Que
just
Dios sabe
patch
lo que te
them,
tiene
you
que
know
hacer.
what
O sea,
you're
Dios te
doing,
va a
and you leave.
compensar
God knows what He
trayéndote
has to
otras
do.
personas
God
de
is
otro lado. En
going
ese
to
momento lo que
give
quieres
it
es
back to you with
ayudar. Y
other
sí te
people
sirven como
for the
botiquín
business,
de
but
primer
that
servicio.
moment you need to help.
Literal. O sea,
And it is a
y
good
cuando veo
first
perros en
aid
la
kit,
calle, pues tampoco le voy a
literally.
decir, ahí son
And when
100
I see
pesos o
dogs on the
5
street,
dólares.
I'm
Van
not
a
going to be
agarrar una
like, hey,
caja
it's
porque está un
$5
perro,
or it's 100
pues
pesos.
solito y pues le ponen
Suddenly
sus
I see a
parches y ya. Y
dog that
yo
is
sé
on
lo que
his
van a
own
hacer de
and
mi
I
vida. Pues
patch
ya
him.
como el otro día, no sé si alguien vio
And I know
que
what it's
se
going to
pegó
do to
un
them.
águila en una
I don't know
ventana
if the other day
de
you
tu
saw
casa, de
that
tu casa, y se
there
quedó herido,
was
tirado. Era un águila pequeño.
a
Entonces lo agarramos uno de mis
small
trabajadores
eagle
y
that
agarré y
hit
le pegué un
its
parche.
head against the
Y
window
dije,
of
ni modo,
my
no
home
manchen, a los 30
and
segundos de que
fell.
el
And
águila
I
tenía el
grabbed the
parche,
eagle and I patched
voló
the eagle. And 30
y nos
seconds
quedamos así como
afterwards,
de,
the
¿y ahora
eagle
quién
went
le va a
out
quitar el parche?
flying.
Al
And we were
águila.
like, oh, who's
Que
going to
no
take the
manches.
patch off him
Se
now?
quedó y dije, pues nosotros pensando,
So
esperamos que
we
se le
just stayed
caiga
there
o
and
su
we
mamá le
thought,
dé
I
algo
hope it
chiquito, ¿no?
falls away or his mother
Pero
eagle
el
can take it
águila
off his head.
voló.
But the
Pero
eagle flew
puede
away.
volar.
The
Y ya
eagle was
quiero
able to fly.
varias cositas y ya son las y 38 y no quiero que me
Okay,
quede
there are
nada
different
porque
things that I
hay
want to see
necesidades,
with
sobre
you,
todo de
and I don't
personas
want to
que,
leave anything without being said
digamos,
because
para
there are
un
needs, especially with some people
padres o
that
mamá, papá que
for a
tengan niños
father, a
autistas,
mother that
¿cuál
have
es
children
la
with
mejor
autism. What
recomendación con
is the
respecto a
best
parches que
recommendation
pueden
when we
usar
talk
o
about the
combinación?
patches that they
Ok,
can
para
use
los que
or
están en México,
combination?
porque en México no
For the
llegan
ones who are in
todavía,
Mexico, because in Mexico you
a lo
don't
mejor
get the
déjenme tratar de
alavida,
comprarlo, que les
you just
llegue
have to
a
find the
través
way
de
of
alguien y
buying
que
it
alguien se los haga llegar a su
via
casa.
somebody and
Cuando yo
somebody
entré a la compañía hace
making
8
you
años y medio, este es
sending
el
it
que
to you.
usaban el de
Since I
Alavida
started the
para
company
personas
eight
con
and a half
Parkinson,
years ago,
demencia
this is the one that
senil,
Alavida
Alzheimer,
was using for
Asperger
Parkinson,
y autismo.
Alzheimer, Asperger,
Ahorita,
and
con la
autism
información que se
and
ha dado,
dementia. Now, the
no sé si fue el año
information
pasado, pues no, porque
that they have given
ustedes
out,
sí
I
le
think it
saben.
was last year, a bit
Había un
before you
movimiento muy
enrolled.
fuerte aquí con
There was
estas
a very
enfermedades para
strong
niños
movement
con
here with
autismo. Sin
X39 for
embargo,
children with
el
autism.
mismo fundador
But the founder himself says X39 stimulates a copper peptide that makes you produce stem cell like when you were 30 years old. So it is not for children. It's not going to hurt a child for you to put an X39 on them. But the a la vida, what it does is to reconnect the front cognitive part. That is why it's ideal. And with children, you have to have a way of patching them because not all of them are going to allow themselves because they are super smart. So what do? You just use them at night. You put them in the center of their pajama, in the center,
o en el calcetín, donde no te vea, porque si te lo
or in
ve,
the
se
sock,
lo va a
wherever they
quitar.
can't
Va a
see you.
llegar un
Because if they
punto
see
en
you,
el
they're
que
going to take it
solitos se
off,
lo
and
van
there's
a
going to
poner.
come a time
Esa
that
es
they're
una
going
cosa
to put it
maravillosa.
on
Y
their
los
own
otros
because
dos,
it's marvelous.
el glutatión.
And the other two,
Todos los niños que
glutathione,
tienen
Each child that has autism has something in common, which is the heavy metals. And glutathione mainly disintoxicates you of the heavy metals. And ion balances the central nervous system and takes away inflammation. So this gives a lot of mental clarity. And not only for children with autism, for all children. You have the main nervous system and the immune system. And if you have kids or grandchildren like me, you need carnosine in case of a bruise or a cut or a scar. With carnosine, you can solve this. So this is a protocol for kids, which is a combination of patches that you and your kids can share. Somebody here is asking me about a person with epilepsy. Glutathione, carnosine, X39. The base of the patches are this, and glutathione, carnosine. That is why it is a system. It's a system that when you buy it in your portal, it's YH system. All three of them decrease inflammation, but not in the same way. They decrease inflammation in different ways. So these three, for me, are yes or yes every day. Now, X39 obviously is the best. It's a technological advancement, the greatest one that the company has done, X39. So this is the broader spectrum. What does it mean? That it has more benefits. So if you have to choose or somebody needs to choose, which one will I use first? X39. And once they fall in love with X39, for example, I bring X39, I bring an Ian here. I don't even know where I have them. The X49 here. I can't show the one here. And I have a carnosine on the coccyx and an SP6 on the leg. It doesn't matter if you use all the patches at the same time. You shouldn't repeat some unless somebody is very sick. Then you can use a few of glutathione of Ice Wave. And those are the only ones. Ice Wave and glutathione. Now, as a business, as a strategy, you can promote X39 because it's very simple. And people are very curious and they're going to want to know what else there is. But you can start promoting only X39. And there was someone who asked about this. And truthfully, it's a question that they ask a lot, which says, somebody asked about it in this chat. A la vida is one that you use at night. Yes.
Fíjense bien, grábense esto.
Okay, remember this. For all the health challenges, it could be Alzheimer, a cold, Parkinson, cancer, diabetes, whatever you want.
Y en glutatión, carnosina,
And
X39.
glutathione, carnosine, X39.
Lo que tú quieres o a lo que tú le quieres dar
Whatever
energía,
you want or whatever you want to give energy to is going to expand. So don't give energy to illnesses. It's a tip that you haven't asked me, but don't start looking for protocols for diabetes or renal dysfunction or for cancer. Don't do that. If you want to be successful in this, we are not doctors. We don't recommend what illness says. We do it based on what results they're going to have. It's very different. What are the results? Stem cells. They renovate, they regenerate, they repair. What does glutathione do? It elevates the immune system. It disintoxicates heavy metals. It creates the strongest antioxidant. Ion reduces inflammation, balances the nervous system. Carnosine repairs. Focus on the benefits that it's going to give you to use the patches, not in what it's going to cure. Because if you or the child, and let me clarify this because it's a lot of questions, dementia, children with migraine. Yes, Mariana, that's what I was saying, because obviously people have the basic protocol of the conditions, because I don't want time to go by without me asking. And maybe we will go to those questions afterwards, and because we're not going to be able to talk about each condition. But I think, remember that afterwards, you have the recording of this. You're going to be able to go back to the recording and take notes, because maybe the important things are going to be missed right now. And I would like you to let us know that in the 8 years that you've been in LifeWave, and you've created credibility, business, and many favorable things. Definitely, you're an example to follow. I always say that out of the people who have reached to where you are, you have to imitate what they do. You have to duplicate, and this is a business of duplication. In these 8 years, what are those things that you can mention that have worked for the business and for what you do, for this life purpose? What are the things that you mentioned? For example, we were speaking to Mike a while ago, and he said, I got on the phone, I started calling people and creating my list. I do presentation call 3 times a week, 2 times a week. I patch every day. What are those things that you have repeated and you have kept that have worked that you can share?
Mantenerlo fácil.
Let's maintain this easy, okay? Just keep it simple. That's number one. That's why I said based on the health challenges that we're going to have every day, we're searching how to get cured. We're never going to finish. It's like when there's a promotion of breast cancer with that pink ribbon, sorry, and everybody wants to promote that pink ribbon. The battle against cancer will never finish. The battle against war will never finish. So this is to promote health. Which one do I use? All of them. And glutathione, carnosine, X39, all of them. Glutathione, carnosine, X39, all of them. You want to add something, add to Ian, glutathione, carnosine, and alavira or someone else. So I don't want to cause you confusion. I want to give you clarity. If you're already using X39 with the child with autism, then use it for yourself and purchase the other patches for him. You know what I mean? And out of things that I do is that I talk to my team every day so they can maintain it as simple as possible, so they can stop searching for people who are sick, even though we're always searching for people that we can help. If you look for the sick, you're going to find a lot of sick people. You want people that want to bet for life, that want to bet for health, and that are open to generate money by helping others. Now, in my case, I move a lot via social media. For me, it's exposing myself every day. And what I do to be able to go out there, let it be via social media or via presentation, like we've done before, is just put myself in the hands of God. In that, I am super aligned. Father God, talk in my name and let me know what I have to say to reach to people and align me to all the people that are searching for an opportunity. And this is every single day. Now, understanding perfectly, so being very clear that if I want to generate a big change in my life, I need to start by taking action every day, little actions, and trusting that the universe will provide. For me, the universe is God. So, what do? Every single day, I have to do a gratitude list. For me, personal development means that in the measure that I grow, my check grows. If I pretend to do the same thing every day, live my life normally like I've done until yesterday and have different results, I would be crazy. It's what am I going to do to be able to learn and continue learning? How can I maintain myself as a pupil with discipline, with consistency, being patient every day with small actions to develop my business? And very little do this. Unfortunately, the more I teach it, very little are willing to pay that price. And it's such a beautiful price, truthfully, to dedicate to your life and to put those limits and say, I need the space to do my gratitude exercises. And there are some people that say, for example, not everybody goes into Zooms and they're like, oh, but I already saw the information 20 times. Hey, my mentor read a book during 57 years and it was the same book and he became rich. So I have an enormous teaching. And it's not just because you already got to that, does it mean that you know everything already? You don't know anything and you need to continue learning. I loved absolutely everything that you said. That is the ideal formula. And you said something which is very true, which is that not everybody is willing to do this. And not only in this, in anything in life. People want change, but they don't want to do what is required to do. And it's something that I train the team in constantly. Yes, product training, compensation plan training. No, no, no. We have to train on mindset. We have to train on gratitude. We have to train on discipline. Everything. Everything is here because what we think is what becomes what we do and what we say and what we do. So people try it for a week and they're like, oh, it didn't work, and they stop doing it. When this is about perseverance, it's not something quick, it's in the long term. I would love it if you could mention what challenges in these 8 years you've faced that have marked you, because people obviously think that they're going to enroll and there's not going to be challenges, there's not going to be obstacles, there's not going to be any demand. But no, this is life. So how do you see those challenges that you've been through, and what are some of them?
Yo creo que de los grandes
Well,
desafíos
I
es
think
ver
that out of the
que
greatest challenges,
mi
it
propia
was
comunidad, la
seeing that
comunidad
inside my
cristiana,
own community,
cuando yo empecé a hacer
people
un
don't
movimiento
trust in me. And when I
de
started doing a
económica,
movement of
se me
health and
retó mucho,
prosperity,
como tú
there was a
quién te
lot of
crees
people challenging me,
o por
like, who do
ejemplo
you
se
think
me
you
ha
are?
criticado
Or,
mucho porque
for
no
example,
terminé
I've been
segunda
criticized a lot
secundaria,
because I never finished
o
high
sea, por muchas
school.
cosas como que la gente se
And,
ha
many things
aprovechado,
like
se han
people
querido
have taken
aprovechar, ¿no?
advantage or
Precisamente pues
have
por
wanted to
el
take
triunfo, la verdad,
advantage, but I
la
really don't
opinión de los
care
demás, porque
about other people's
realmente
opinion because
yo creo
truthfully,
en mí.
I believe in
Yo
myself.
creo en mí, o sea,
I
creo en mi
believe in me.
capacidad y creo en mí
I
porque
believe in my
tengo tres
skills,
hijas
and
maravillosas
because
y
I have
hermosas
three
que mueven
beautiful,
mi motor de vida
marvelous
todos los días
daughters that
y les
move
repito,
my
y esto
engine
no
of
es para
life
que
every day.
suene
And I'm going to
como algo
repeat
que
this
los
because I
quiera
don't want
volver
this to
vulnerables.
sound
No,
as
no
if
es
I
para la
want you to
programación
become
neurolingüística,
vulnerable.
yo no
I don't like
sensibilizo a nadie, al contrario, no somos limpios,
neuro-linguistic
se dan cuenta, o sea, esto es
programming. I
profesional.
don't
Pero
sensibilize
para mí
anybody.
LifeWave
You
es una
realize I don't
oración
have
contestada,
filters.
o sea, de
But for me,
rodillas porque
LifeWave
diario era
was an
ayúdame, o sea, me
answering
estaba
from God
muriendo
to a
yo
prayer.
literal.
I was on my
Entonces, si
knees
yo
saying to
encontré
God,
una
please help
solución
me.
o
I
puedo
was literally
sanar
dying. So
de
if
un
I
acto de
found
egoísmo,
a
no compartirlo
solution
con
to
el
healing,
mundo.
it would be very
Y
selfish to
para
not share it
mí,
with the world.
lo que yo me he
And
encontrado
for
como el
me,
desafío
what
creo que más
I've
grande, aparte
found
del
as the
ataque
greatest
de Raimundo y
challenge,
todo el mundo,
apart from the
es
attack
la
from
parte
Raimundo
de
and
que
everybody, was
la
that
gente no está
part of
abierta a
people not
generar.
being
Sí,
open to
tampoco está
generating
abierta a
and
generar
not
dinero,
being open
porque
to
traen
seeing
un
you generate
problema
money because
de,
they have
de
an
mucha
issue
programación.
with a
Entonces,
lot
por eso
of
necesitas el desarrollo
programming.
personal.
So that is why
A
you need
mí, el
personal
mes
development.
antepasado, en septiembre, que fue el
The
primer año en el corporativo
previous
en México,
month in September
me
was the
reconocieron como
first
la
corporate
número uno en generar
month
ingresos
in
en todo mi
September. They
país. La
recognized me as
número
number
uno en
one of
registrar
income
personas en todo
generating in
mi
the
país.
whole
La
country,
número
number
uno
one of
ganando
registrating people in
los
the whole
viajes en
country,
tiempo récord.
number one of
¿Ustedes creen que eso
earning
le gustó a
trips
todo el
in
mundo?
record time. So
Claro
do you
que
think
no. O
everybody
sea,
liked that?
por supuesto que no.
Mm-mm-mm.
Porque lo
Of
ven
course not.
como, ay, pues es la que más
Because
está
they see it
ganando.
as,
Eso no es
oh, well, she's the one
liderazgo,
that
porque no
earns
ganan
most.
todas de
That's
su
not
equipo, porque no
leadership.
todo el mundo está
Why don't
haciendo la
you have your
chamba.
whole team
Porque si
earning that
quieres
much?
ganar,
Because
tienes que
not everybody is
trabajar. O
doing
sea,
what they have to
en
do.
mi
Because if you
caso,
want to earn, you
amo
have
lo
to
que
work.
hago.
And in
Pero
my
es
case, I love what
muy
I do.
importante.
And
Y saben
last,
que
and
esto,
very
donde puedan,
important,
y lo lean
record
diario,
this
por
wherever
favor,
you
todos
can
los
and
días,
read
hasta
it daily,
sentados en el
every
baño.
day, even sitting down in the restroom.
En la medida que ganes dinero,
As long as
significa
you
o es
earn
igual a
money,
cuántas personas ayudas.
no, how much
Así que
money
tú
you
sabrás si
earn
quieres ganar
is the
mucho
same as how
dinero
many
o
people you
quieres
help.
ganar
So
poquito.
you decide
Prepárate
if
para
you
que en
want to
base
earn a lot
a
of money or little
cuánta
money
estás
because the company
impactando.
pays
No a
you
tu
based on
liderazgo,
how
no a
much
si estás
impact you're
bonito o
having,
feo,
not on your
nada.
leadership, not in you
Todo
if
lo
you look
demás es
good or not,
irrelevante. Los
nothing. All
resultados
the
en
rest
dinero
is
se ven
irrelevant.
en
The
cuántas personas
results in money
estás
are
ayudando.
seen in how
Así es
many
que ese
people
tiene
you're
que ser tu
helping.
enfoque.
So that's how you have to focus.
Wow. Esto nos ha dejado, díganme ahí en el chat cuánta gente no se va como que con la energía.
Wow, this
¿Saben qué
is
me encanta,
amazing. Tell
Mari?
me
Que de
in the
verdad te
chat how
agradezco
much energy
muchísimo
you are feeling. You know what I love,
todo este
Mariana, and I
tiempo,
really appreciate all this time
eres un ejemplo y es
because
la
you're
realidad
an
y tienes
example.
tanta razón en todo lo que dices.
It's a reality.
Y yo siempre le digo a todo, al equipo,
And
¿no? Cuando
I
empezamos
always
los
say to the whole
entrenamientos, que podemos
team when
traer
we
todos
go
los
to the trip,
recursos del
to the
mundo, podemos
trainings,
leer miles de
that
libros,
you can use
pueden
all the
tomar
resources in the world. You
mentores,
can
pero
read
si no
all the
aplican
books.
lo que les llega,
You can
es
have a
como si
thousand
nada,
mentors. If
es
you don't apply
absolutamente
what you
como si nada.
receive,
Y yo
it's
creo que este tiempo
nothing. It's
contigo
absolutely
ahora
nothing.
mismo nos ha
And
dejado
I think
claro
that this
de
time
que estamos
with
en el
you
lugar
has left
correcto.
us
Me
clear that
encanta tu
we're in the correct
alineación
place.
con tu
I love
fe,
how
con lo que
aligned you are
eres, con
with
tu
your faith,
propósito.
with what you
Le
see,
pido a Dios por
with your
ti, que Dios te
purpose. I
bendiga y
ask
que Dios
God
siga llevándote
to
por
bless
todos
you
los
and to
lugares que sé que
continue taking
llegarás,
you
porque tú
to
tienes
all
una
the
voz
places that I know
maravillosa,
you're going to be
simple de una
because you
manera
have
en
a
la que
beautiful
hablas, que
voice,
conectas con la
simple in the
gente.
way that
Y
you
yo creo
talk
que
and
eso
you
tiene
connect
mucho
to
que
people.
ver.
And I
Se
think that
siente
has
tu
a
amor
lot
por
to do.
ayudar.
You
Y
can
de verdad te
feel your love
agradezco
and your
mucho que
wanting to
así
help.
tan simple como
And
me
I
fui, me
truly
acerqué a ti, que te
appreciate
escribí
the
inclusive por
way that
Hey,
I even
Mariana,
wrote to you
please,
via
después me demoré
Instagram
mucho
and
en
hey
contestarte.
Mariana, please, and it
Pero
was so
porque
simple, and then I took
Escribió,
really long to answer
¿sí
you.
me escribió? Oh my God.
Yes, because I was like, wow,
Pero no,
Rachel
que
wrote
me
me,
encanta.
and then
De
she
verdad,
never
gracias
replied.
por tu corazón
So
bondadoso
thank you
de
very much
compartir
for your amazing
todo
heart,
lo que has
for
hecho,
sharing what you
también lo
have, what
que
you've done,
los obstáculos y los
and
desafíos que has
also the
enfrentado. Pero
obstacles that you
todo
have
el equipo nuestro
faced.
aquí
because all our team is happy here and grateful for this time that you've dedicated us. What would be the greatest advice from everything that you've given us that we can see you in a little while and say, you know, Mariana, we did that. We took action with what you advised us. I'm going to talk about something that is very aligned to you, Rachel. Ask God. Ask God to take the people close to you, and those people will arrive. Ask God and also take action every day. I have a method that is 369. Give three people the information every day. Do it during 6 days in the weeks. Then rest a day and then do it during 9 weeks, nonstop. Yes or yes. Each day. And ask God to help you every day. And thank Him. Thank Him for your team. In my list of gratitude of every day, it's my distributors, my team. Every day I give thanks for them. And for the ones that I don't know, too. For all of you, at some point, I appreciate it. I gave thanks and I'm aligned with you. And many years ago, I said, I want to share Life Wave, even if I don't earn money. I love this. Now I earn money with it. But time passed and my mindset changed and God has compensated me incredibly. So trust in God. And if you don't believe in yourself yet, okay, because I know this happens to a lot of us, or you don't feel deserving and it's maybe not conscious, you're not aware, but and the truth is that you don't feel deserving, think of someone else to be able to reach your goals. In my case, I started thinking about my daughters. I said, hey, I have to do it because I have to do it for my daughters. And afterwards, things are going to align and you're going to start believing in yourself when you see everything that you can achieve.
Muchas gracias, Mariana, de verdad, por tu
I
tiempo.
love it. Thank you so much, Mariana, for your time. And I'm sure that this is not going to be the only one. We're going to have more calls in the name of God because we're aligned. We have the same prayers, a gratitude journal, which I think is something that brings, and the team knows, my team knows that when I started in LifeWave, I wasn't searching for another business, but I had prayed to God a lot for an opportunity. And this is exactly, yes, exactly, an opportunity to generate money with the women that I work with low self-esteem, that are entrepreneurs, that don't know how to do it. And God brought LifeWave when I heard David talking about God and putting as a leadership example Jesus. I said, this is a reply from God, definitely. So how amazing to be part of this team that we continue having a purpose and a blessing, not only financial prosperity, but blessing you and your health. So thank you for your time. God bless you and your family and everybody that surrounds you. Likewise to you, darling. Blessings to everybody here. Bye bye. Thank you all, guys, girls, and the recording will be soon online, and also for you, Mariana. Take care. Thank you for everything. Bye.